All right, so you think moving to Dallas in 2026 is gonna be all sunshines, opportunities, and that affordable living piece as well. But yeah, I need you to relax real quick because we're gonna have a real conversation. Because I keep seeing the same comments over and over again, guys. Dallas is overrated. It's just too much traffic on the highways. It used to be super cheap, but not anymore. And my personal favorite, guys, is why don't you ever talk about the bad parts? And then I'm like, y'all act like Dallas is the only city on earth with problems, guys. Newsflash, it's definitely not. But here's the thing, guys. Most of these takes are coming from people who either don't live here or they moved here and got smacked in the face by reality just because nobody explained how Dallas actually works. And now they're all mad at the city like it did something to them personally, guys. Look, Dallas didn't do anything. You just showed up with the wrong expectations. You see, I help people relocate to the Dallas Metroplex every single week, and I can tell you right now, the people who love it here are not the ones chasing some Instagram version of Dallas with rooftop views and a brunch every single weekend, guys. Look, that's super cute, but that's not gonna be your daily life, right? The people who actually enjoy living in this city, guys, are the ones who understand who this city operates for day to day and build their life around that. So no, this isn't gonna be one of those hype videos telling you everything is just picture perfect, because it's just not. And it's also not gonna be one of those dramatic don't move here videos either, right? This is gonna be the real, no BS advice you actually need if you're thinking about moving to Dallas in 2026. What's gonna be great, what's gonna be frustrating, what people completely get wrong, and most importantly, how you actually live in the city itself. All right, so let's clear the air real quick, guys, because the loudest opinions about Dallas usually come from the internet, right? Not people actually living their day-to-day life. So we can start with this one right here. Why don't you ever talk about the bad areas? And here's the truth, guys. They definitely exist, just like every other major city in America, guys. Dallas is not special in that regard. But here's what I'm not about to do, guys. I'm not about to sit here on YouTube and just start labeling neighborhoods or making people feel like they should or shouldn't have been somewhere based on a 10-minute video, right? That's not how this works, right? My job is to help you figure out what fits your lifestyle, your commute, and your goals. And that's the conversation we have one-on-one when we actually break things down properly. And then there's gonna be the next thing that people say, Dallas isn't what it used to be. Okay, compared to when exactly? Because Dallas definitely changed a lot. And so has every other major city that people are moving to right now, guys. The growth didn't just skip over Dallas, guys, but the idea that the city is somehow ruined now, that's definitely a stretch in my opinion. It's really just evolved in so many different directions, guys. And if you're expecting for it to feel like it was 10 to 15 years ago, you're gonna be setting yourself up to be disappointed. And then of course, it's gonna be the big one. Everything is just so expensive now. And some things definitely are, absolutely. You try to live in certain parts of Dallas and some of these booming suburbs, and yeah, you're gonna feel it, but everything? Nah, not at all. I can't agree with it. That really just depends on where you choose to live and how you choose to live that way. And that's where most people get all of this twisted, guys. They see one area, one price point, and one type of lifestyle and assume that's the entire DFW market. And that's not even close, right? And here's gonna be a common theme that I get phone calls about all the time, guys. None of these are a simple yes or no answer, right? I have to dive into what your situation looks like, what size of a house you want, what your lifestyle looks like with your kids. That's why trying to figure all this out based on comments, TikToks, or random opinions online is how people end up frustrated after they move here. So let me say this truly clearly, guys. If you're even thinking about moving to Dallas and you don't fully understand the areas, the commute, the cost differences, and how the city actually functions day to day, you are setting yourself up to make an expensive mistake. And I don't want you to do that, guys. So if this is your first time to the channel, I'm Mark with the Dallas Relocation Guide, and we help people buy, sell, and relocate right here to the Dallas Metroplex. Look, nobody's out here boots on the ground, give you the insights, the intel, and laying it all out on the silver platter for you so you can make the best decision for you and your family. So if you're thinking about making a move, guys, feel free, reach out. All of our contact info is down in the description below and pinned to the top of the show. All right, so let's talk about what Dallas actually feels like once the honeymoon phase is over, guys. Because a lot of people, they move here and they're thinking they're about to live some non-stop type of highlight reel, right? They're thinking rooftops, they're thinking the brunches, always outside, always something going on. Like their life literally just turned into a travel vlog overnight. And yeah, that does exist here, but that's not the version of Dallas you're living on a regular basis. Listen, you've really got to understand that Dallas is not just one type of experience, guys. This isn't one city, one vibe. It's more like a bunch of different lifestyles all stitched together, and whichever one you land in, that's your Dallas. Like for instance, if you're living over in Uptown, yeah, you've got the walkability, the Katy Trail, all the packed patios, the places like the Rustic, the rooftop spots, the people out and about all the time. That's one version. But if you go over to Deep Ellum, now you're talking about murals, live music. You're gonna have spots like Pecan Lodge, the late night energy, the bars, that whole creative type of scene. But then if you slide over into places like Plano, Frisco, or Prosper, now your life looks completely different, right? We're at Legacy West, the Star, some nice restaurants. You're gonna have the clean developments, guys. Everything feels newer and more structured, more family oriented. And then you've got your everyday spots that the people are actually living in, right? Grabbing food at places like Mi Casina, hitting a casual lunch spot over at Eatsy's, or going out of your way for the real barbecue like Terry Back's or Cadillac, guys. It's all Dallas, but it just doesn't feel the same at all. Look, this right here is where things go sideways for a lot of people. They think they're moving to Dallas as one experience, but in reality, you're stepping into a very specific pocket of the Metroplex that's going to shape your entire lifestyle. It's just like picking a seat on a plane, guys. Once you're locked in, you're not just casually switching sections mid-flight. Because once you land here, once you move to Dallas, guys, it gets real routine real quick. You start moving on a schedule without even realize you're doing it. Where you're gonna grab your coffee at, where you go to the gym at, where your grocery shopping is gonna be at, where you go out on the weekends. And before you know it, your whole life is running inside of a 10 to 15 minute bubble. You might think you're gonna be bouncing between Uptown, Deep Ellum, Frisco, Fort Worth every single weekend. Yeah, nah, it ain't gonna happen like that. It sounds good on paper until you realize how big the DFW actually is and how fast traffic will humble you. Listen, everything here starts to really revolve around your routine, guys. People are up early, they're handling business, they're working, they're building something, guys. They're taking care of their family. And then, yeah, when you're ready to wind down, there's gonna be that nightlife piece. Yeah, there's things to do, but for most people, this is not a city where you're out till 3 a.m. every single weekend. That's not how most people live here, guys. This ain't Vegas. Nobody's trying to recover for 2 days after a random Tuesday. Your social life is gonna end up revolving around the foods, events, the sports, and whatever your immediate area has to offer. And that's really what it all comes down to. You might be at a Cowboys watch party, you might be hitting brunch, you might be walking North Park Mall, or just keeping it simple and grabbing dinner somewhere close like a go-to Tex-Mex spot in your neighborhood hangout. And this is where the expectations really start to shift, right? The version of Dallas you see online, the flashy spots, the places everybody's talking about, that stuff looks good on camera. That's like the trailer, it's just not the full movie. You might hit those places every now and then, but you're not living there every day. Dallas has to be experienced in your routine, not in the highlight moments that you see on IG. So when you reach out to us and we're able to get you in that right area of how you actually live, Dallas feels super easy, it feels convenient, and honestly, it's really enjoyable. And if you don't, it's gonna feel like a grind each and every day. And that, my friends, is the major difference.
Marquez Branson, what's going on, young man? Realtor now, top realtor at your brokerage away. I mean, you doing it. You doing it. Everything we learned in the game applies to everyday business. Just like we walked in the locker room. You walk in the meeting room, write down everything, learn it, master it, learn it again, master it, and become the best realtor ever. You set the bar, we set the bar. We play the game the same way. God bless you, Marquez.
All right, so now let's talk about the stuff nobody tells you until you're already here. And by then, you're just figuring it out on the fly. The first one, Dallas is way bigger than you think it is. Like, yeah, you see it on the map, but it doesn't hit you until you're actually living. I mean, people will say, oh, it's not really that far. And the next thing you know, you're in the car for 40 minutes, wondering how you're still in the same metro. And look, don't even get me started on directions out here. In Dallas, we don't measure distance in miles, guys. We measure it in time. And even then, that time is more of a suggestion than a guarantee. Because traffic, guys, it's not always predictable. Like, most of the time, it's really unpredictable. Listen, you can leave at 1:30 and get somewhere in 20 minutes. And then you can leave at 4:30, and now it's a whole different conversation. Look, same route, two completely different experience, and it'll humble you with the quickness. And if you add in all the toll roads, now you're sitting there making life decisions like, do I want to get there faster or do I want to keep my $7? Because if you live here long enough, you're gonna have a toll tag, and that monthly statement, it just shows up like clockwork. And the next thing is your commute matters more than you think it does, and I don't care how nice the house is. If your day-to-day drive doesn't make sense, it's gonna wear on you day by day. Look, that excitement, it fades real fast when you're sitting in traffic every morning and every afternoon. This is why I always tell people, you don't pick your house first, guys. You pick your lifestyle and your commute, and then you find the house that fits inside of all of that. And look, here's another one that a lot of people don't tend to realize. Not all Dallas suburbs feel the same, and it's not even close. Frisco doesn't feel like Forney. Mansfield doesn't feel like McKinney and Plano. It doesn't feel like Mesquite. These are completely different day-to-day experiences, different paces, different layouts, and different energy. So when someone says, I'm moving to Dallas, that doesn't really tell me anything at all, because your experience of this city is going to be completely shaped by where you land and how your daily routine flows. Now here's going to be another big one, guys. People think they're going to explore the whole Metroplex all at the same time. You're just not, guys. It's not happening. You might hit a few spots here and there. You might try a new restaurant, maybe go check something out on the weekend. But for the most part, your world tends to shrink. You're gonna end up staying close to home, because after a long day, you're not trying to drive 45 minutes across the DFW just to grab dinner. You're going somewhere that's gonna be easy, convenient, and it's gonna be close. But that 10 to 15 minute radius around your house, that becomes your world. And if you pick the wrong area, guys, you're gonna feel that every single day. Dallas is a great place to live, but it's not plug and play. You gotta understand how this city actually works. All right, so picture this. You're 25 minutes outside of downtown Dallas. We escaped all the traffic, all the noise, and the why did I even move here type of energy, and you pull up to this right here. And that right there is what we're gonna call a first impression. 2 stories of white limestone and brick, deep pitch roof line, and a 2nd floor balcony, and that black iron fencing framing the whole front like it's supposed to be in the magazine. And honestly, it kinda is. All right, now here's where it all gets really, really good. We're talking 3,400 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, starting in the 550. Look, in DFW terms, guys, that's not a house, that's a lifestyle upgrade. You're gonna have easy access from all the highways, from major employers, and you're still close enough to downtown for that date night that doesn't require a podcast and a snack. This community is one of those spots people discover, then they immediately call their family about it. So you see that driveway right there? Yeah, we're about to go up there and see what First Texas Homes has to offer. All right, guys, so I want to welcome you into First Texas Home. They are known for this staircase that we're going to show you in just a second. But first, as always, Imani over here in this dining area.
But yeah, you guys, we're not in the office immediately today, right? But very open dining room. I've just been having a bit of fun, as you can see. Just they have some fun design finishes that I've been loving out here. But just have very open concept. It's going to transition into your kitchen very smoothly. So for those who like to host, this is just a really nice setup to be able to have in here.
I love the detail that they did in the ceiling. They use the same wood up here as they did on the floors beneath your feet. So this runs all the way through this first level. I believe even the master has it. We'll see. It might be carpet, but we'll see and check it out. So right here to the right, we have our laundry room. Again, this is the office for the reps right now. This is where your 2-car garage would be. So as we come in here, you have your laundry space. Now, again, nice size laundry space is gonna fit everything really nice and evenly. And then you have your mudroom bench right outside this garage door. And so as we come around, we'll go into your first ensuite, which they have.
We got an office, guys.
Office. Well, I guess it's not an ensuite, it's just the office space, yep.
Yeah, so we have a designated office space over here. Very quiet and to the cut over here. You know, I love a window seat, so just glad to see that feature in here. But very, just simple. Gives you exactly what you need. It's private, have a glass door front here, so if you need that privacy, but people need to see that you are technically working, they can have that option
Put the little note on the door, like do not disturb
type
thing.
Do not disturb, there we go.
All right, so now we're gonna come out into your living space where the ceilings are going to vault, and then you get this classic First Texas circular staircase, guys. Like a lot of our clients are looking for that circular, and First Texas is going to be one of those builders that will have it for you. Coming over into this kitchen space, talk to me, Imani, what we got?
So one thing that I love, and they don't really do them too often, is actually placing your kitchen sink in front of a window. I am such a big fan of this in kitchens in general. Not only is it just because of the fact that I think it just gives you a bit of a breather, but also look how much island space it creates when you don't have that sink in the island. So just has infinite amount of opportunities to be able to do what you need to do here, but I really love that layout. Tons of cabinet space that you're having in here as well. So you have a lot of storage to be able to take advantage of. Trash can pull, you know I'm gonna pull it out. And this is why you need to get pools installed, guys. You saw how difficult that was?
Yeah, she was about to break a nail for y'all right
No,
on
I was
camera.
not. No, I was
right on camera. And so this is one of those, I don't know if this is quartz, but I love this countertop. So it's got the white veining, but it gives more of a little bit of a rustic look. They actually matched it on the fireplace as well. But as you can see, guys, this will be your view into your open concept living room, guys. This is your circular staircase. I cannot stop talking about that. I love that. And as she spoke about, you have your sink and you have your window right over here out looking so you can look onto the side of the yard. And then you have your cooktop there in the corner. Dual ovens, microwave up top. You'll have your coffee station in through here, and then you'll have your pantry right across from there. All right. So they do use the glass inlays with these pantries, so that's really nice touch. My mother and father, they did that at their house. We custom built out of Mississippi, and they just put, you know, the words pantry on there. I thought that was really cool. Just makes me feel like I'm at home. Let's talk a little bit about this dining space.
Yeah, so what I was just loving in here is these little pocket windows against this wall, right? So it kind of serves as a bit of an accent or an artistic piece in here, but it's also gonna allow a lot of light into your home. So I really love that finish. Love it as far as the secondary windows as well, but this is a big space. So, you know, even without that console table over there, you could put a fairly large table here and comfortably be able to sit everyone. And it also gives you direct access to your back patio. So that's what you're seeing for that door.
Perfect. Now let's walk in here to this living room, and then guys, we're gonna save the master for last. We're gonna go upstairs and see what we're working with our game room, theater room, and everything that's above. So in here, guys, like I said, double height ceilings. You have that rotunda up there where you can look down and talk to all your guests when they're here. The kids, this would be the perfect prom stair for the photo, right? So this is gonna be that classic. You have built-in speakers on either side, fireplace here with a nice little hearth, and they have a massive TV right here. So definitely a beautiful layout, beautiful use of space, and it feels just elegant when you're walking through.
All right, we're practicing for prom, ready?
All right, so as you see, no carpet on these stairs. You have the white risers with the wood treads, and then you also have the nice dark accent here. And as we come up right into your game room space.
I love how this is staged. I think they did a really good job of utilizing exactly the space the way that I would do it as well. But it's a bit of a communal space for the guest bedrooms up here. So I love how this kind of brings everybody together. It's a bit off the beaten path of your staircase as well, so you're not walking directly into it without having to be interfered by furniture. But it also introduces us into your media room, which I've been obsessed with. I love how dark and secluded it is in here. You might have to adjust your lighting on there.
Yeah, it's extra dark in here. But
Yeah.
you guys can kind of see and tell there. So they have the projector up here, which will already be wired. You have the speakers, probably 5.1 Dolby surround sound. Nice big sectional in here. This is just a perfect place to lounge with the fam, lounge with the kiddos, or just lounge with that significant other that makes you really feel like you're at home. All right, so as we come back around, we're gonna go into our first bedroom.
So one thing I would call out, I love all the playful lighting they did in this home. So one, I love that little art piece,
Oh, that is pretty cool.
that is a really cool feature over there. Even with it, just instead of doing a flush mount up there, just having a bit of a more of a fun lighting fixture. But this is also a really great size room for a guest bedroom up here. You're also getting some great ceiling height, so that's normally not something you see consistently on the second story. So I love the fact that it's very tall, it is wide, and your kids will be able to kind of live and grow in this room, right? They won't outgrow the space for sure.
Yeah, you can have enough room over there for a nice little desk space, right? They can kind of go over there, do their homework, get that done, even though you know kids don't like doing that. But it is mandatory in my house. It's 30 minutes a day at the kitchen table. Make sure it's getting done. We ain't trying to hear nothing. You got to make a C at least.
As you guys can see, Mark runs a tight ship.
I sure do.
But walk-in closet over here. But, you know, just love the space that it gives up here. And then we're going to go to the second guest bedroom that's up here. So they actually have this staged a bit differently. Again, I'm loving just different options when it comes to the guest bedroom. So they made this an in-home gym. I love the treadmill that they place. This wallpaper is actually pretty fun, I would say. It looks almost like it was jogged or drawn rather, but love that they kind of finished this. But this is a full bedroom, but something that I think is super cool, and you don't see this too often, is this upstairs patio area that they offer.
So you get the little upstairs where you can come in here and relax, chillax, and look at that view, guys. Look at that view. This neighborhood is beautiful. So you have lakes there. We have the pool right over here. They're actually building a school down the street here. But again, this is the type of neighborhood where you can come out. You can come out here, have a cup of coffee in the morning. If this is maybe your workout room, maybe do a little bit of meditation. So one of those features that most people don't necessarily think about they want until you see it. And then it's like, wow, that's pretty cool, actually. All right, so now we'll come back inside. And we'll take a look at this bathroom right off of this ensuite.
Yes, nice. So bathroom's actually gonna be directly over there to your left.
All right, so we'll come in here. You got your vanity, tub, shower surround. Loving those tiles. Beautiful tiles. That is really, really nice. And then, like I told you guys, you have this nice little rotunda here just to come down and look and wave at everybody below you.
Hello.
Hi there. How you doing down there? We running the ship up here. Sure are.
So fun catwalk, and love that this opens for a 2-story foyer area as soon as you walk in. So they have a very nice lighting fixture that's actually still seeable through the with that outdoor patio area. So just love the ceiling height and how they're taking advantage of space here. This is gonna be another guest bedroom that's on this side.
This is a fun little bedroom too, right? I like that wallpaper.
I do like it.
Gives it more of a feminine edge, but I like the brass accents and everything like that.
Still access to that patio there, so I love that feature. Like this
kind of like a
really cool
wraparound situation.
Yeah, it is. So you still have access to that. But love kind of just being able to get some breath of fresh air without having to, have your window or actually just hang out. That would be a really nice area to kind of have some chairs out there, a little table, have as a reading nook. Walk-in closet's going to be directly behind me.
Can you guys feel the scale of this room though? How big this is, right? This is a queen size bed. You have plenty of room, plenty of space over there. Your little girl can get dressed over here, right? She would probably love this little area because that'd be a perfect place for a mirror.
That's going to be a linen closet for this hallway. This is going to be another full bath. We love the tile that they placed in there as well.
Got the vertical inlay there with the big, those are like 6 by probably 4-inch tiles. And then you have the nice 6 by 12s here on the floor. Vanity, upgraded fixtures. Love the mirrors that they chose, it's really nice. And then over here we have our final bedroom, which they use as a nursery.
So very nice and quaint, I would say. But even with growing, as I said, kids can kind of be in here and be comfortable around the room as well. So it can grow into this space. Honestly, this is probably traditional over there, 11 by 10. So I would say sizing, walk-in closets directly behind you. But I love this space, love how they took advantage of it. But even to have this many furniture pieces in here and have so much walkability in here, it shows you how big the room really is.
100%. And then for me, these little details, right? The chair rail accents. This is stuff that we can have, like I can get you in touch with my contractors. They can do this type of stuff and it'll save you as far as trying to let the builder do it. But it's not crazy, crazy expensive if you have the right people doing it, but it adds such an upper level of detail to your home. So that, guys, is First Texas Homes. Like I said, if you have any questions about anything, if you're liking some of these floor plans, if you're liking some of these builders, then don't hesitate. Just reach out. All of our info's down in the description and then pinned up there to the top of the chat. All right, so now let's talk about the part that everybody's thinking about, but nobody really breaks down the right way. The money. Because you probably heard this already. Look, Dallas isn't cheap anymore. Yeah, parts of that is true, right? But the problem is that people hear that and they immediately think the whole city is just expensive across the board. And that's not how this works, right? Dallas is not one price point. Your cost of living here can look completely different depending on where you land and how you live your life. Because I know some of y'all are kind of expensive. What's up, boy? What's going down? Like, if your lifestyle is going to be built around places like Legacy West over in Plano, the Star over in Frisco, or shopping at North Park Center, yeah, you're going to feel like you're in a higher price bracket real quick. And honestly, you know that about yourself anyway, and you're probably making the coins to boot. Those nice dinners, those higher end shopping, the premium everything, guys, that all adds up. You're grabbing dinner at Spot like 60 Vines, you're doing Del Frisco's, or even somewhere like Haywire, which is my wife's personal favorite. That lifestyle is going to cost you a little more than people expect coming in. Now, when we talk about on the flip side, if your lifestyle is more laid back, you're hitting the local gyms like Hutch's Barbecue, which is still kind of expensive. You're grabbing tacos at a spot like Resident Taqueria, or just keeping things simple with your go-to neighborhood spots, your day-to-day spending can feel way, way more manageable. It's going to be the same city, two completely different experiences. And that's what people really don't seem to understand, guys. They see one version of Dallas and assume the cost of living is across the board. When in reality, your lifestyle is what drives your expenses just as much as your housing does. But let's talk about the part that actually surprises people, and that's always them good old property taxes. Look, that's a real thing here, and depending on where you buy, that number can hit a little harder than most people expect, right? You might feel good about your purchase price, and then you see that extra tax rate and go, oh, whoa, whoa, hold on a second, Jesse. You need to calm down there. And look, it's not necessarily a deal breaker, but it's definitely something you need to understand up front so you're not going into this blind. And the same thing goes with the HOA, the MUDs, and the PIDs, especially in some of these newer master plan communities around Frisco, Prosper, Salina, even Forney. Those extra costs can be a part of the package. And look, then there's going to be that insurance piece. It's not the craziest in the country, but it's still something you need to factor in when you're running your numbers, right? The new construction is literally everywhere, right? We're talking about communities with amenities like resort-style pools. You get the walking trails, the fitness centers, all the clubhouses, the places where you don't even feel like you need to leave your neighborhood half the time. You're going to get those builders like Highland, Perry Homes, you get the Grand Homes, look, and they're going to be offering incentives, rate buy-downs, closing cost help, things that can actually move the needle if you know how to take advantage of it. So yeah, Dallas didn't become unaffordable, guys. It just stopped being so simple. Look, you can't just show up and pick a random area and expect everything to line up perfectly anymore. It's not that type of market that we're in. Look, the people who win here, they're the ones who understand how to align their lifestyle with their budget and not fight against it, guys. Everybody else, they're just reacting, and that's where everybody starts to feel like Dallas is too expensive when it's just not that simple. All right, most people move to Dallas thinking that they need to be in the middle of everything to think they're getting that Dallas experience, right? They're picturing uptown skyline views, they're picturing the rooftop bars, they're picturing being always outside, right? Always having something going on. And then a few months go by and they realize they've only been in uptown a couple of times. Maybe they hit Deep Ellum once or twice, and that's about it. Because the real Dallas, it doesn't necessarily happen where you think it does. It's gonna happen inside of your routine. I gotta hammer this point home. You tell yourself you're gonna try new places, and somehow you keep ending up at the same one every weekend like clockwork. It's your go-to food spots that are gonna make the difference, guys. Maybe you're hitting Mi Casino for Tex-Mex. Maybe you're grabbing brisket over at Terry Black's or making a run over to Hutchins Barbecue up in McKinney. Maybe it's something a little more low-key like the neighborhood sushi spot or a place like Kenny's East Coast Pizza that just becomes a regular without you even planning on it. It's gonna be those places like Legacy West or the Star over in Frisco where you say, you're just gonna go walk around for a bit, and the next thing you know, you've been there for 3 or 4 hours. And then the same thing goes for the North Park Center. You go in for one thing and somehow it turns into a whole afternoon. It's really random, everyday type of stuff that ends up being your life. Running errands at HEB or the Central Market, that somehow just becomes a part of your routine. And for a lot of people, guys, especially if you have a family, it's simpler than that, right? It's school drop-offs, it's after-school activities, and it's weekend sports with quick dinners nearby. And then maybe on the weekend, you're taking the kids for dinner like Perot Museum or the Dallas Zoo, or just letting them burn some energy off at a local park before you call it a day. Look, that's gonna be the real life, the real Dallas, the thing that you need to understand. And look, here's the part that people really don't realize until they're in it, guys. Your world gets small in a good way. You're not trying to be everywhere to everybody, right? You're not chasing every single hotspot. You build your life around what's gonna be convenient, right? What you actually enjoy and what's gonna be close and everything that's gonna be within that 10 to 15 minute radius of your house. And look, that's when Dallas really starts to click for you because Dallas isn't trying to be some non-stop entertainment type of city. That's not what we're built for. We're built for actually living day to day. It's built for the routines, for the consistency, and for somebody building something over time. And once you stop trying to force it to be something that is not, guys, and you just lean into what it actually is, that's when people really start to enjoy it here. All right, so let me keep it real with you for just a second. Dallas isn't the problem for most people, guys, and it's easy to pick the wrong pocket of the city and feel like it every day. And I'm talking about like if you pick the wrong line at the airport and now you're just stuck watching everybody else move faster than you. And that's where everything starts to go sideways because I see this happen all the time. Look, people move here, they're chasing a version of Dallas they saw online or something they experienced on a quick trip or something that worked where they were maybe coming from. And then they try to make their daily reality match that, and that's just a recipe for disaster. And then when it doesn't work, Dallas somehow gets the blame. But that's not the real problem, it's the setup. It's choosing an area that doesn't match your routine, right? It's underestimating the commute like, oh, it's only 25 minutes away, but yeah, that's at 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. It's picking an area based on hype instead of how you actually live day to day, guys. And that tends to catch up with you very, very fast because the wrong move in the right city will still feel like wrong every single day. I mean, that's like having a nice house, but hating your drive every single morning, guys. That gets old real fast. Now, for my people that actually figure this out early, they get honest about how they actually want to live, not how they wish they lived. They're going to pick the areas that make their day easier, not more complicated, right? They stop comparing Dallas to where they came from because that's a losing game every single time. And once that clicks, guys, once you start to get that concept, Dallas starts working in your real favor real quick. Things are going to start feeling easier and smoother, like everything finally lines up the way it's supposed to. So if you're thinking about moving out here, guys, don't just wait. This is one of those decisions where having the right guidance up front, it makes all the difference, guys. Again, if this is your first time to the channel, I'm Mark with the Dallas Relocation Guide, and we help you guys figure all this out. And look, I get it. If you're still in research phase or if you're still thinking about whether or not you're going to move out here and you want to check out more videos, we created a whole playlist that you can binge watch like Netflix, guys, and you can check those out right there.